I often hear clients express something to the extent of, why do I keep doing this even when I swore I wouldn't? If you've ever asked yourself that in frustration after a relapse, this message is for you. The answer might be less about willpower and more about how your brain and past experiences are wired. In other words, there are real neurological and trauma-related reasons behind repeated relapse. And once you understand them, you can start to break free from feeling controlled by them. Let's start with your brain. Addiction isn't just a habit. It actually rewires your brain over time. In fact, engaging in compulsive sexual behavior can trigger changes in the brain's reward circuitry, much like a drug can. Think about that. The same pathways in your brain that would light up for a substance addiction also light up for sexual addiction. This means when you get an urge to act out, it's not because you're bad or weak. It's because your brain has learned to crave a certain dopamine rush and relief. It's operating on a kind of autopilot, especially under stress. Self-control can feel hijacked when those reward circuits and stress circuits take over. Now layer on trauma and deep emotional wounds from the past, and it gets even more challenging. If you have a history of trauma, as many people with addiction do, your nervous system might be stuck in survival mode. Certain triggers, like feeling rejected, alone, anxious, or unsafe, can flip a switch in your brain. Suddenly, you're in fight or flight mode, or a state of emotional overwhelm, and your brain reaches for the fastest way to feel okay again. Often, that quick fix is the addictive sexual behavior. It's like a reflex. Pain or stress hits, and your brain says, I need relief now, do the thing that numbs this. This is not just theory. It's backed by clinical findings. Studies have found a strong link between early trauma and later compulsive sexual behavior. For example, a much higher percentage of people in treatment for sexual addiction have histories of childhood abuse or trauma compared to those who don't struggle with addiction. What that tells us is your relapses may be rooted in deep core wounds. It's not simply that you're not trying hard enough. Your brain learned to cope with pain in a certain way, and it will keep defaulting to that until you learn a new way. Here's the hopeful part. What's wired can be rewired. The brain can change. And when you bring conscious understanding to those unconscious patterns, you start regaining control. In my 8-week Breaking the Cycle of Relapse online workshop that starts
Thursday, June 5th at 6 p.m.,
I'll break down the neuroscience in accessible terms. No science degree needed. You'll finally get a clear picture of what happens in your brain before a relapse and how trauma triggers can set that chain reaction off. This knowledge alone can be empowering. Instead of thinking, what's wrong with me? You'll start thinking, oh, that's my brain sending a craving because I'm stressed. And I know what to do about it now. Importantly, this workshop is trauma informed. That means we approach your struggle with an understanding of how past trauma or PTSD might be affecting you today. We'll discuss specific tools to calm your brain and body when you get triggered. For instance, we might practice a simple grounding technique to use when a craving hits, something to engage your thinking brain again and soothe your overwhelmed nervous system. We'll also look at your emotional patterns. Do you tend to relapse when you feel lonely or when you feel criticized? Recognizing those patterns is key. With my background in complex PTSD and addiction, I will share insights into how to care for those deeper wounds as part of your recovery process, so they don't keep ambushing you. Imagine coming away from this workshop feeling relief that you finally understand what's been driving your relapse cycle. You'll realize you're not crazy or weak. Your brain has been doing exactly what it was trained to do. And now you can start training it in a new direction. You'll have a toolkit of techniques to interrupt the relapse process, from breathing exercises that actually calm the brain's stress response to habits that slowly build new, healthy neural pathways. This is about working with your brain and healing your heart, rather than fighting against yourself. If you're ready to take back control from those automatic brain circuits and unresolved traumas,
the workshop starts Thursday, June 5th at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time until 7:30 p.m.
This is your chance to understand the why behind your struggles and learn the how of changing them. No judgment, no jargon, just real science-backed insights and compassionate guidance. Your relapses don't have to remain a mystery or a source of endless self-blame. Come empower yourself with knowledge and hope. Reserve your spot for this workshop, and let's start rewiring that cycle of relapse. I can't wait to share this with you and see you regain your freedom. The link to register is below.